Hi guys, and welcome to today's video. Today I'm going to be trying on a couple of things from the newly released. It's the Dior Holiday. I picked up one Quint and also one blush. The Quint that I picked up was the one in Night Walk, and as soon as I saw promo photos of this, out of the two Quints that were going to be available, that was the one that I wanted. I thought that looked really beautiful. And I only picked up one of the blushes. I picked up the lighter one. Now I've already tried the Quint and the blush, and I think both are really beautiful. So today I'm just going to be doing one eye look using the Quint. I may use all the shades, possibly only 2 or 3 out of the Quint, because I plan to do at least another 2 videos using it. I really think it is versatile. I think you can get soft day looks out of it as well as dramatic night looks as well. So I've already got my primer on, but I've got to put on some foundation. So I've pulled out the Dior. This is the Forever Natural Nude. This was released in New Zealand about a couple of years ago now. And as you can see, I have used quite a bit. It's about down to there. Considering how many foundations that I own shows how much I like this foundation. Now, because I have oily skin, this probably is more suited for me in the cooler weather. Autumn, fall, winter, early spring. So it's early spring here now in New Zealand. So this is probably the last week or 2 where I'll be able to use this. Once the weather really warms up, I can't use this anymore, really, because it just gets just a bit too glowy. I probably could if I really fussed around with it and powdered more, or put on setting spray first before my primer. But just for ease of use, this one is really that I set aside for those cooler months. And I do plan on doing a video fairly soon. It'll probably go up in another couple of weeks or so, and that's my favorite foundations for the cooler weather, especially in winter with my oily skin, because I really love it that I can change my foundations around. So with this one, I'm just going to put one pump on the back of my hand. Now, when I picked this up a couple of years ago, this is the shade 3N, and in Dior, I normally pick up 2.5N. So this one is slightly dark, but it works. So I'm going to use a Sonia G brush to apply the foundation. But first, I'm just going to just dot this round first. So I actually pulled this out the other day, this foundation, and wore it for about 2 or 3 days in a row. And it is really beautiful. I love the finish on this. It would be a light towards medium finish. Those of you that have normal to dry skin would really love this foundation. So the Dior Blooming Boudoir, that collection, that's finally been released here in New Zealand. And I had a good look through it again last night, and I've only picked up a couple of things from that. I just picked up the lipstick case because I love that design, and also the candle. I think I mentioned that in a will I buy it, that out of it all I really like the candle. I bought the Miss Dior one last year and I thought it was really beautiful, and even though the candle is quite small, the scent that it gives when the candle is lit is very strong, and it has really good throw as well. So I won't be picking up that big, I think it was the 10 shade palette, or that Quint either. And for the rest of the Dior Holiday, I haven't yet decided. I can get it now, that's available, and that's that face and makeup set. That's with the Quint in the middle. It's got the blushes, the highlighter, and also the satin lipsticks as well. At this stage, I haven't picked that up. I may do, because I'm not going to be buying the other Quint in this holiday collection, the one that is more gold. So I've got my eye on that Quint that's in that makeup set. I'm still not too sure about it. I may leave it because there's always beautiful new releases on the horizon. And last year and the year before, I did buy that face makeup set. So I don't really know whether I need a third one, but as I said, I still haven't made up my mind yet. So I've now powdered my face, powdered under my eyes, got some concealer on and bronzer as well. And just like with all my other videos, everything that I put on my face today, I will have linked and listed below. So now let's take a look at this beautiful Dior Quint. This is number 043 in Night Walk, and it does come with 2 applicators in it. The color story of this is just absolutely gorgeous. Now, when I very first saw the promo photos, I immediately thought, gosh, this is like last year's one. It was the one Galactic, and I'm going to hold that up in a minute, but they're actually very different. Now, I have seen a couple of videos on this, and people are referring to this as a grey silver, and it is, but I think this also has a little bit of blue in it as well, and I would say this is more of a steely blue, and it is an absolutely gorgeous color. So I also took photos of this in natural light when I first received this Quint, so I will pop that up there for you to take a look. I'll hold this up closer, and then in a minute I will hold beside it the one Galactic. Now, I will swatch this Quint on my arm or hand, but I won't be swatching any others. There's been quite a few different videos now, and there are plenty of comparison ones out there if you want to take a look at those. So here is number 043 in Night Walk. And this collection is inspired by the beautiful Tuileries garden. The other Quint is inspired during the day, and this one inspired more for the evening. And I think that the embossing on these is absolutely beautiful, and that is inspired by the architecture of the exceptional Parisian site loved by Christian Dior, and that is the Tuileries garden, as I mentioned before. So they say, for a stroll through a royal garden bathed in sunlight, the Promenade Dorée eyeshadow, that's the other Quint, Harmony reveals luminous hues of bronze and gold accented by a silver shade. For a nighttime adventure, Night Walk features silvery and black tones that contrast with a radiant golden hue. And the gold shade in the middle of this Quint is absolutely beautiful. It's probably one of the best gold eyeshadow shades that I have. It's really gorgeous. And then it just goes on to say the shadows can be worn alone or used together, which I think is pretty obvious. So this is last year's one. This is Galactic for their holiday. So you can see straight away it is completely different. This shade may be the closest, but again, this is a grey silver. And when you see it side by side with the Night Walk palette, that's what I mean when the shade in here, instead of being a grey silver, it almost has a blue hue to it. It is really beautiful. So I'll hold them up side by side so you can take a look. So here is Galactic from last year, and this one, Night Walk. And of course, this Quint for this holiday is the new formula, but from the 2 or 3 Quints that I've tried so far, I've had no issues with them. People say that they are drier. I really don't notice the difference. I still find that they blend beautifully on the eyes, and they also last really well. So these are the shades swatched from left to right and top to bottom, and the middle shade last. So first of all, we do have a silver. Then this one here is a white, and I would say you would call this one a topper. It's not overly sheer, but it's not opaque as a normal shimmer shade either. And this is the shade here that I think has that slight touch of blue in it. Really beautiful. Then we have the black shade. This is a matte. And then finally, this gold shade in here. Now this gold shade, it isn't a bronze and it isn't overly yellow either, but it is really beautiful. And then on the 2 other times that I've worn this Quint, I've worn this one by itself with one of the lighter shades, and then yesterday I tried this out again because I couldn't resist, and I used the shade by itself with a little bit of the black, and both looked really beautiful. So I'm going to start off with the shade here. This is a Sonia G brush. This was one of her travel sets. I'm not sure whether it is still available. If it is, I will link it below. So with this shade here, I am going to take this all over the lid, through the crease, and slightly above as well. So you certainly get a lot of pickup with this. And the other day when I used it, I put it more sort of darker in the outer corner and just blended over so it was lighter through here. And by itself, I think that the shade is absolutely beautiful. And I think, as I was saying before, this is the shade when I had a good look at the promo photos. This is the shade, this is the reason why I wanted to buy this Quint, because I thought it looked really beautiful. Then we'll just take the rephr 13, go into this black shade here. I'm not going to put a lot of this on. I may use it as eyeliner today as well. I used it the other day and it worked really well as eyeliner, so I may do that today. Now I just want to slowly build up this black shade here. I'm going to put a little bit through the crease and just slightly above as well. I don't want the black to be too overwhelming. I actually haven't used it the last 2 times that I used this Quint. I didn't use it in the outer corner like I normally do with the darker shade, so this is the first time with this video, but I just want you to have a look at what all of these shades look like together. But as I was saying, I plan to do probably at least 1 or 2 more videos using this Quint, just to show you you don't need to use all 5 if you don't want to. It is a Quint that leans itself very much to one and done shades, and perhaps the darker shade here, this black, if you want to use that as an eyeliner as well. And it works beautifully just with 2 shades as well, but I think it is a really beautiful colour story. So I'm just taking the rephr number 3 and going back into that first shade that I used, and I'm going to run this under my lower lash line. And then I'm going to stay with the rephr brush and go into this black shade here, and I'm going to put that under my lower lash line as well, just on the outer third through here. Then I'm going to take my Dior Holiday brush, and I think I will go into the shade here. And just pop that through here just to lighten it all. Then I've just wiped down the rephr 3 and I'm going to go into this gold shade. And this would be, it's a neutral gold shade, almost leans slightly cool, so it's not out of place with this colour story at all. I think it's a very beautiful shade. And like I was saying, when I wore it alone yesterday and I just used the black matte eyeshadow for eyeliner, I thought it looked very, very beautiful. And then I've wiped down the rephr 3 again, and we'll go into the shade. This is more of a topper. This would go beautifully if you just tap your finger in very lightly and take that all over the lid. That would look really beautiful. Though today I'm just going to pop it in the inner corner. And then I just want to deepen up the outer corner just a little bit, not up through here, but just on the lid itself. So I'm going back into the black matte shade and just going to tap just a little bit just through here. And I will use the black eyeshadow today to line my eye. So I've just wet this brush here, and I used a setting spray for that. I used the Dior one that I have, but you can use any setting spray or even water if you want to. And just put just a bit through here. I'm not going to do a thick line. It's really just to make the base of my eyelashes just look a little bit thicker. So I've now just popped some mascara on, and this is the finished look for my eyes. It is Very beautiful. Now, as I was saying, I've used this Quint a couple of times before and only used 2, maybe 3 shades. So this is the boldest look that I've done so far. So for me, this would be an evening look, but you can definitely use this Quint for a day look as well. And that's why I want to do at least one more video and show you that. But I think it is gorgeous, and I still think that, well, there's probably 2 standout shades in this Quint. This shade here is stunning, and this middle gold shade is just absolutely gorgeous, and of course I always love a topper. So now let's take a look at the blush. There were 2 blushes that were released. I picked the lighter color, and the one that I picked is number 211, and it is Precious Rose. Now, I like the look of the other one, and I would say that is more pigmented, but because I knew this was the more darker eyeshadows, I really just wanted a lighter blush to go with it, and that's why I chose this one. Again, with that really beautiful embossing, and I'll show you the picture again, the one with the eyeshadow and with the blush in the natural light. But it is a beautiful color. It is buildable. I've used this with a soft brush. I've used it with the Chocohodo brush, and I think I've also used it with the Chanel one as well. I think I'll use the Chanel one today, and I found both of the brushes that I used equally fine, so it doesn't really matter what you use. This is also a satin formula, so I'll just take the brush out and hold this up so you can take a closer look. And this is a subtle rosy peach shade. So I'm going to take the Chanel blush brush and just do a few swipes through there. So just with tapping it in and popping it on, you get a very, very subtle wash of colour. So I do find that I have to build this up, but you can build it up. And I am happy that I got the lighter out of the 2 shades. I think it is gorgeous, and for me with my makeup, it's definitely enough with this darker eyeshadow color story. The other thing with this blush is it is fragranced. I think it smells really beautiful, and I don't find it overpowering, but just so that you're aware, it does have a fragrance in it. So here is the final look. And I just put on a very subtle lipstick, very neutral, to go with the very subtle blush as well. Now, this is the lipstick that I've worn the other 2 times that I've tried out this Quint and blush, and I like it. I like going with a more subtle lip, especially when my eyes... This look is quite, well, it's bold for me. So like I said, this would be more evening. But even with the other colours, they can be for day. But because they're a little bit more darker, I do like going with that lighter lip. So the Quint, I think it is beautiful. I said those 2 standout shades for me were that gold, which is a really unusual gold. It is neutral, it's not bronze, and it's not too yellow. It is just absolutely gorgeous. And this shade here, which I swear that has just that hint of blue in it as well. It's almost a steely blue, and I think it is really beautiful. The matte performs really beautifully. It works really well to define my upper lash line, and I also put a little bit on my lower lash line as well, just through here. The topper is gorgeous. It's sitting really beautifully in the inner corner, and like I was saying, it would go beautifully if you just tapped a little bit through here. I didn't want to add that as well over the other eyeshadows that I did, because I think that this one here and this shade here to go with the black is probably enough on my lids, but this would even lift the look even more. I really love toppers. I think they give a very beautiful, ethereal, sparkly look to the eye, but overall, really gorgeous Quint. This is either a color story that you like or you don't. I really like it, and as I said, it is very wearable for the day as well, and that's why I'm going to do at least another video and just show you how I wear it during the day. And the blush is gorgeous. The embossing on both this and the eyeshadow is beautiful. I am so pleased that I picked up the lighter shade. This peachy rose is absolutely beautiful, and I love it that it's more subtle on the cheeks. It has that satin finish, but again, it just gives a very subtle sheen. There's nothing over the top about it at all, and really beautiful with the darker eyeshadow, the lighter blush, which is buildable. Probably wouldn't be able to get much darker than this, so I don't know how this would work if you've got a deeper skin tone than me. The other blush probably is more suitable, and I really like just the neutral lipstick with the whole look as well. So I'm thrilled that I picked up the Quint. I'm glad I decided to skip on the other one, and as I was saying, I'm really pleased I picked up the more subtle blush out of the two, but it is a really beautiful collection from Dior. So that's it for today's video. I would love it if you gave it a like and subscribed, and I will see you next time. Bye.